Hey there, Chris from BikeReview.com.au, and today I'm having a look at Kawasaki's Z400. And as you may or may not know, I bought our Project Ninja 400 last year, so I was really keen to see what the Z400 offered. Now, as you can see here and in the pictures I'll put up, very distinct styling. Now, Kawasaki Z800 and Z1000 in comparison are way more out there as far as styling, and I think Kawasaki have pulled that back in a bit for the Z400, because obviously as a LAMS legal motorcycle, they want as many people jumping on this machine as possible. This one does have a couple of accessories. It's got the screen, it's also got the crash bobbins, it's also got the pickup spools on the rear, so there's a couple of extra things on this particular machine, but it's a really handsome machine if you ask me, and I think it's going to appeal to a wide range of riders, particularly new riders. Obviously it's a little bit transformerish as far as, you know, very futuristic, very angular lines, but I reckon what they've done with all the bodywork to actually make it all pulled together and not to have, you know, things hanging out here and there, it's really a nice job, and it's really nice styling. Great headlights on the front. It's got LED lights like the Ninja. They offer really good vision at night, which is important for someone who's riding the bike all the time. Obviously it's got a single front disc brake, and you might be thinking, well, you know, you're gonna have limited power. I'm actually always super impressed with that single front disc brake with the dual piston caliper. Plenty of power, plenty of stopping power. Obviously it's a nice light machine, just under 170 kilos altogether, so just like the Ninja. And it feels, I mean, when you're on it, it doesn't feel like a small bike, but it does feel very light and nimble. So as a new rider, if you're jumping on one of these particular machines, you're not going to be overwhelmed by the weight of the bike. And ergonomics are nice and relaxed. It's a nice upright seating position with plenty of room between the bars, the seat and the foot pegs. A nice easy reach to the ground thanks to that low seat height. Again, just like the Ninja. But just like the Ninja, that seat, particularly in this section here, it's rock hard. And it's probably my one big criticism with the Ninja 400 and now with the Z400. The parallel twin engine, just like the Ninja 400, it's got really beautiful torque in that low to mid range. It's a beautiful power plant. It's a little bit rough around the edges though in comparison to some of the other competition, and obviously it's got the slipper clutch, which does help calm that down a little bit when you're really riding sportily and smashing it down through those gears. I love the power plant. It's quite different than anything else in the LAMS category as far as kind of how it provides that torque and wear, and it makes for a great everyday machine. The bike's got a really nice intake growl. Exhaust is pretty mediocre, to be honest. Obviously you're going to be putting an aftermarket exhaust on if you really do want a nice note from this bike. One thing I'm not a huge fan of, it's got like a streetfighter style dash on it. It's quite busy. It's got like a strip across the top with the tachometer numbers on it, and that's backlit at night. But to me, they've made it look really cool and really street fightery, but I'd just rather at the end of the day, a nice simple dash. There will be people who look at that and go, that's awesome, I really love that though. So I mean, very subjective there. We've also got the seat cowl on this model, as you can see here. Obviously there's, you know, basic room for a pillion once you get far enough in your licensing stage to be able to take one on the back, and being a 400 means there is enough power to do that quite comfortably. It's not like with some of the 250s or even the 300s where you really start to notice the power limitations in that regard. But with a nice seat cowl on the back, you're not going to be taking anyone. It does give it a nice sporty look, and it actually stands out really well between the black and the green paint on the rear here with that black seat cowl. So I think that's a really cool accessory. This is very competitively priced, and coming in just under the Ninja 400, I think it's a great alternative for those who aren't after the sports bike styling, but still want an awesome, really high performance, essentially LAMS machine, which is going to do everything. As far as handling, nice and neutral. It's a really easy thing to ride and an easy thing to ride fast. I have to say the standard tyres, those are the GPR 300s. They're a great all-round tyre. We were using them in, you know, drying roads this morning and in a little bit of rain. Very good standard fitment tyre, something that is going to carry you through until they wear out and you can pick something else. There is also a noticeable difference between the Z400 and the Ninja 400 as far as the suspension. The Z400 actually seems to have a little bit softer suspension, and what that does do is it makes for a more comfortable overall ride. However, once you get through the softer initial stroke of both the forks and the shock, it can get a little bit harsher than the Ninja 400, which is a little bit sportier overall. And that did leave me thinking that the Z400 is probably going to be a better kind of casual everyday ride, depending on your weight of course. However, it does have a slight disadvantage when it comes to getting really sporty. So that's a small point of difference as well between those two bikes. Obviously, I thought the Ninja 400 was good enough to buy one. However, I think the Z400 is in the same category. I think there's going to be a slightly different audience looking at it, but it's an exceptional starter machine. And I mean, really, if you're commuting through the city every day, this would do you. There's plenty of times when, you know, you might want a bigger bike, but when it comes to commuting and the everyday use, you don't need anything more than this. Realistically, I mean, maybe, you know, we all like the bigger bikes, but this is going to do the job. It's more than quick enough. It's fun, it's stylish, it looks great. You can definitely customize this up a little bit and add some kind of personal touches to it, and I don't think you can go wrong picking this bike. Like I said, only criticisms: that seat is really hard, and the engine a little bit rougher than some of the competition, but at the same time that plays into that awesome low to mid-range torque, which is what makes this such an awesome machine. Anyway, let me know what you think about the Z400. Are you a fan of the styling? Leave us a comment. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell, and we'll be back soon. Thank you.